I'm guessing they've seen something in scrims or something. Last week, Catinator did brag that banning against him is fantastic. He loves when people target ban him because his champion pool is so deep. So maybe they'll consider what they want to leave for him.
But at the same time, while deep champion pool is a great asset, there might just be something you don't want to deal with. Speaking of which, we've now seen a restriction on Shaco, Syndra, and as I was talking, Kale. So we've got basically 2 bans for high damage, and then who wants to deal with invincibility, am I right?
You know, Syndra has been a massive playmaker all day. I'm glad to see Syndra finally taken out, but Aphelios goes unbanned once again.
Now, you're going to have to remind a bit of a league geezer here. Aphelios, he's that new ADC, correct?
Yeah, that ADC they put out at the end of last year.
Whoa, there go my dogs. But yeah, I think I remember seeing him a bit in my last time I was here on ALS now. But going into the present, looks like we've got Apes Together Strong picking up, I believe it said it was Pantheon, correct? And then a pick of Gangplank, and yep, there's the lock on Olaf. That's an annoying as heck frontline.
I like these champions. We've seen Gangplank be incredibly effective under Jeremy Flip, and Olaf is probably my favorite jungler, so I'm never upset to see him. Although this week, I hope Exasperated has a chroma on him. I was disappointed last week.
Always got to have that bling. Skins are power, after all.
Xayah. So Xayah is an interesting pick. She's been pretty weak in the bottom lane for a while now.
Really?
So doing that early pick now, I'm fairly certain Xayah saw a little bit of love on this most recent patch, not a lot. And Ezreal being picked into the Xayah, definitely some...
Now that's not a surprise, though. Can't let them get the Rakan, too.
Oh, no.
Interestingly about Xayah, though, unless they've completely changed her ult since I last knew, they don't have too much that she can't just flip over maybe one thing and then just kind of be gone. Gangplank's got a little passive CC and Olaf's got the slow on his axes, but so far that's it.
So they're hitting that Lysandra, not letting Black Oreo Cookies have the champion he dominated on last week.
Makes sense to me. And we've also seen the removal of Ornn, just the forever top lane.
I feel like that's a target ban on me. Banning the Magic Goat. Come on, guys.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. That's great. And then final ban, Tom Kench. And let me tell you, opposite of a target ban on me, I never want to see the Kench off the bench. Oh, he just drives me crazy.
I think that might have been I would have rather had that Tom Kench still available to help protect the Xayah. I think Ezreal needs that sort of support a lot less. And this is probably a bottom set.
Now, Set is one you are definitely going to have to give me a little bit of discussion on, because he is definitely after my time. And I don't remember seeing him the last time I was here either.
Set is the most recent champion. He is an excellent brawler. He has a lot of engaged tools, but he's had to be brought down a few pegs. Oh, Morgana. This is the second Morgana of the day, but the first time probably not in the jungle.
Oh. And in fact, I'm having trouble picking out their jungler at this point.
I would say the Warwick, most likely.
I guess I'm inclined to agree with you now that you've said it, but goodness, they've kind of got a few options there, don't they? And let's see. Oh, I just want to see. Oh, I'd like to see that too. Sorry, a lot of picks that are close to my heart. Yumi, who I know that when she came out, she was not appreciated very much right away. I found her extremely interesting. She's right about the end of my time.
This is a really interesting comp for for NG Blossom, it looks like they're putting the set in mid. So
okay,
that might be a counter pick against the Pantheon, which good on them for calling that out when they did.
You know, that makes sense just on what I can think of with how you would do that with Pantheon. Yeah, just someone who just wants to engage just as much as he does instead of being punished by it. And, you know, I've got to say, as far as straight-up front lines go, I'm favoring the Olaf and Gangplank and Set together. Don't get me wrong, Gnar is a great front line half of the time.
So, with the Warwick, depending on how you build him, because there's several ways to approach him, and the Gnar, this is a strong traditional pick, but there's a strong engage component on both sides. I think the Yuumi is really going to be one of the champions that makes the difference here. Out of these two teams, it's difficult for me to side one way or the other, but I think I have to go with the NG Blossom just on the way they have handled this draft and the way they're preparing for a pretty brawly fight. I think they're ready for long fights.
And I've got to agree with you. They're definitely ready for the long fight. But taking another look at Ape Together Strong's team, the Warwick, the Morgana, just with the range on the snare, they've got some pick potential. Now, you could argue that there aren't too many targets if Yuumi's got a ride, because Ezreal's going to be your softest target to pick up. But at the same time, a little of that front line gets picked off, things start to look a bit different. I think Ape's got a chance at this if they play it right.
And they're going to have to be ready, because, I mean, neither of these teams, I think, has significant advantage in the early game. Ezreal's definitely someone that scales, I think, better than Xayah, but everyone else, I think, scales around about the same speed. So
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, this is a fascinating draft. I didn't expect to see this come out of NG Blossom.
So, question. Yuumi's passive, does that still only give mana to herself, or can she share that benefit now? Did they ever change that?
You know, I never play support, so I would have to look it up.
Because last I knew, Yuumi's, I believe it's actually called Bop and Block. Her passive, that auto attack that grants a shield. You can share the shield, but you have to generate with your own auto attack. That was actually something that surprised me a bit when I started playing her on her release. If there's been any change that Yuumi helps with her carrier's mana, that's going to be huge on an Ezreal.
I don't believe it does, but I'm not 100% positive on that. Maybe the chat can know.
Actually, yeah, that's a good question, chat. Anyone know if Yuumi can seed off mana now? Wouldn't Black Shield block Set W? Well, if Set W is crowd control based, then certainly. Black Shield is actually like one of the biggest reasons to take Morgana against the kind of team that she is facing here. So if those come out at the right times, it could be quite nice.
The thing to remember here is most of NG Blossom's damage is physical, so Black Shield is probably not going to block a lot of that.
Not a lot of damage. The thing with Black Shield, though, is that as long as it's on, it does prevent crowd control. So the funny thing with most of the damage being physical actually means that the shield is going to survive to take the crowd control. For example, if you get hit by Olaf's Q, I don't think that's magic damage, is it? That's physical. You'll take the full damage to your health, but it will stop the slow.
Fair enough, but that is still a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying you don't want you want the damage, but not getting stuck can matter more. All right, and now we are starting to see the champions drop in. Let's see how this starts to break down. Got... Yep, the Warwick in the jungle. There's the machete coming out, so you were right on that one.
So we're probably going to see a pretty aggressive bottom lane. They've prioritized taking cleanse on 2 champions. Both Set and Ezreal are carrying cleanse.
Uh-huh.
So that tells me they want to get in there and scrap.
Oh, heck yes. And that does play perfectly into exactly the kind of fight you said their comp was looking for. Oh, speaking of fights, though, looks like there's a bit of pressure happening around Ape's red buff. Mostly just for fear and vision, though.
We're just getting the vision down, making sure they know where this Warwick's going to be jungling, have an idea of what Sina wants to accomplish, how long it's taking.
Though, speaking of vision, we have both colors of ward on the lower blue buff here, so it seems like in terms of early vision on the jungle, it's going to be pretty easy to tell where Warwick's been.
I mean, normally you expect an Olaf to want to invade. It's one of the things Olaf does well. I don't think you want to do that against a Warwick most of the time. So...
Wait a second. Actually, it looks like there is one thing that we've got wrong, though. We're seeing a Gnar in mid.
It looks like it was a lane swap that they made after the draft. Because Lost Fox is normally their top laner.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
Pantheon is going to have a much harder time with Set than you would have against Gangplank, so if you had to choose between them...
Yeah, fair enough. Ooh, quick cosmetic aside there. I really like the effects on that Xayah skin. That's cool. Looks like we've got... Oh! Excuse me! I was going to say that I didn't think much was happening, but obviously I missed it. Looks like not by a lot. We've got Black picking up a quick takedown on Gnar there, and I think, yep. And Jeremy follows up with one of his own in the top lane. Bit of early pressure there coming out.
Set is definitely one of these champions where you can underestimate how much health he has left because his W generates such a large on-demand shield and then puts out true damage. Set is yeah, if you're in that center cone, Set is going to do a lot of damage to you. The Gangplank, on the other hand...
bot lane here. Morgana's getting hit a lot. Ooh, gets out with her life, though. Really quick play on Yuumi there, though. Jumping to Ezreal just in time to get out of Niall's Black Binding, and then using the fact that this lets her steer her own Q to get the massive slow.
So with Gangplank, I think the one advantage she has over a Pantheon in lane, they're both, they both have melee abilities, they both have some ranged attacks, but
well, kind of.
Pantheon has an orange. And that makes the stun on... Or Gangplank has an orange, and that makes the stun pretty rough.
Yeah, and I know that it is true the Pantheon's got some range, but if you want to talk about a ranged game, Gangplank's definitely got him beat between just Parlay itself, even though you'll probably usually be farming with it, and just that keg chaining mechanic, which we actually saw as a quick poke for a second there, giving 2 options, one of which he doesn't even have to walk up into the range for. And there's that...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, there's that orange coming in exactly as you said. Bit of an exchange happening up there. Oh, hang on, we have a gank going on in mid. Looks like Lost Fox is in a bit of tough position. Flashes, but another flash to get under him. 2 people tower diving is going to be enough to take him out. Though, the follow-up from Warwick here could see a punishment for it. Ooh, it's going to be close, though. Splash, fearing back. Yep, picks it up. And about an even fight, though I hate fighting a low health Olaf. Yeah, it didn't work out. Exasperated turns that into their favor in a pretty substantial kill exchange for this early in the game.
So one thing you saw Exasperated doing before that gank was setting up wards all over the blue jungle. He was ready for that fight. He knew he was going to have an idea where that Warwick was. And it paid off in the end because they were able to catch Nice coming up as well. Although Nice was able to back off.
Speaking of knowing where your jungle is, it looks like Exasperated is taking this opportunity to pick up a quick Ocean Dragon on a weirdly close call on his own health. Though, you know, with that smite healing going on, still looking fine.
Also with that Olaf passive going on.
Seriously, gosh. Olaf, I said it before, but I'll say it again. Olaf drives me crazy. I never like dealing with an Olaf, so I do not envy Apes right now.
Already up to a 2k gold difference, and you can see a bit of a lane difference in all the lanes, especially bottom, where Catinator is already up almost 25 CS.
And that kind of difference does just keep adding up. But the biggest one you said is that cumulative 2,000 this early. Certainly not unrecoverable, not even close, but it is not where you want to be. Definitely time to start being maybe a little more defensive. I don't know if that's even right, though. I don't even think Ape's positioning has been too bad. It's just been working out really well for the for Exasperated to come in and get stuff done.
I mean, he's playing the playmaker, and that's definitely a strength. Warwick is a champion that you really need to farm on and try and get to your mid game.
Yeah.
So I think with all of that, that gives an Olaf a lot of time to just run around and do whatever he likes, and what he likes is often pretty bad.
Yeah, no, you never want Olaf doing as he pleases. For one thing, that's Mundo's job. For another, it's painful. Speaking of pressure, though, we have another quick skirmish occurring in the top lane here as Languaging... Ooh, goodness gracious, that was a lot of damage. I don't know exactly where that burst healing came from. It's Pantheon carrying heal, and I didn't notice. Though I'll have to figure that out later because we have a major gank happening in the bottom lane. Exasperating, picking up Sinai, who's coming in to maybe help cover. And then, that global fire coming down. Looks like this is not a turret you want to be standing under. Corey getting caught by Exasperated. Gone down pretty easily. Damage from the turret not really perturbing Olaf, especially with a Yuumi there giving him heals and shields. And that... Wow, I know the plating's got a lot of health, but that's at least going to be a few plates.
And this is Black Oreo Cookie doing exactly what we expect. Rotating, being a playmaker all over the map, getting control of his lane so that he could just go wherever he is needed. And that's what you expect out of Black Oreo Cookie.
It's a strength. If you can be in the right place at the right time, like, everything else, you know, it can fall into place for you. Your mechanics can be the best. If you're not in the right spot, they don't do you any good.
It looks like Sina's going to try and take a moment and catch up with a Shelly.
Yeah. If they can get that, that'll be a very, very useful swing in field momentum, if nothing else. And they've got to grab one soon, because that gold difference you mentioned, it's approaching 5k.
The Shelly seems pretty free. There hasn't been a lot of vision on the top. There hasn't been a lot of activity on the top half of the map, so it seems like a good time to go ahead and sneak it in there.
Yeah, and it worked out. At least it's in their possession now, so they've got a little time to figure out how they want to use it, what kind of pressure they want to create, and where. Going back down to that bottom lane with its weakened tower, though, we've got another push coming in, and this is the kind of pressure that can really... Ooh, ouch! That Ezreal Q. And looks like more of it's following up. Lots of skills coming down there, and it did actually manage to get Corey's flash while already having forced Morgana to leave the situation. I think this is going to be another 1 to 2 plates. Or they will go to exasperate its aid in the jungle, as there's that low health Warwick though, forcing Sana to back up, and with Yumi's help, there's not much for Sinai to do.
I hate to say it, but I think Sinai just followed far too long. When he wasn't able to get on that Warwick with his Q, or get on that Olaf with his Q, that probably was the time to back off.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but just that's the risk you run with Olaf. There's two big ones, to be a little more specific about him, is that he gets so strong at low health, that we've talked about, and then just the ability to press R to be immune to crowd control. We haven't seen that one come in too much yet, at least not that I've noticed, but just fighting an Olaf that you're even on par with, it hurts.
And with these two cleanses, this is an entire team that seems pretty immune to CC.
That's a good point, actually. You've got Gangplank with his oranges, you've got Olaf with the ult we just discussed, and then 2 cleanses, and Yumi, who just, can choose to not be a targetable body. So, in fact, you could say this entire team is immune to CC. Oh, good pick off there. Good shot by Caffeinator.
And we're seeing first items start to get completed across the board. We're here at 11 minutes. It might be a little bit on the slow side, but we have a Manamune completed for Catenator. We have jungle items finished. It looks like Jeremy is finishing up that Triforce pretty soon.
Speaking of Jeremy, Sina and Lion are trying to put a lot of pressure on them, but here comes Exasperated. The ult from Gangplank coming down, draining Pantheon's health, barely hanging on here. There's that Unstoppable coming down from Olaf too, and just the low health bonus damage and attack speed. Slam, slam, slam. Thank you, ma'am. That's probably going to be the top tower too. Yep, there it goes.
There's been a lot of situations where you could probably say this is an item difference, but this started off as a team fight difference.
Yep, that's basically what we're looking at. And we did get a nice pick from Lost Fox there, managing to eke out a victory over Black Oreo Cookies. But they're going to need a few more of those. Good start, got to find some more, and pretty quick with the difference we're getting in towers. That's a lot of map control to lose this early.
We're also close to a 10k gold difference at 13 minutes.
Oh, goodness. Oh, they're well, a little bit off to the side there, but I probably wouldn't have done any better. Oh, lots of CC coming down there, though. And boom, the Olaf finally goes down, but it looks like it's going to be an unequal trade. Nope, not quite. Flash comes in. That'll get you out of a sticky situation. That's a nice shutdown to get. Hurts that you got to trade an extra kill for it still, but you need those. You need those in these kinds of positions. Unfortunately, though, looks like we're going to lose a lot of health on the mid tower on Ape's side for it, too. And with plating still being up because of the blistering pace of this assault, that's a lot more gold.
Ever use that Shelly? I don't think I ever saw him deploy it.
I didn't either, and I don't see any more purple on Cyan. So I mean, I could be completely wrong. I think it might have been dropped.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Rather. Speaking of dropping things into walls, though, Nar jumping in, throwing people into the said walls, but that cleanse, there it is. And
that's just gonna... has no fear.
None. And I mean, he kind of doesn't need it. With XDME backing him up, the movement speed they get to give him an escape, Ezreal having a teleport, and the one way you shut Ezreal's teleport down, having that extra flash, is he's seeing him, but he's sitting on a cleanse. Mid turret goes down, and Lego manages to sneak out a pick onto Gangplank while I'm not paying attention. Good job, Lego.
It was a close fight after an Ignite had him pretty low, so I think that's a big take.
Problems, though. And gonna retreat to the tower in time. Whew! Scary when you see an Olaf bearing down on you and you're carrying his buffs.
Well, you're starting to see a point in the game where Olaf is not going to be the major damage source anymore.
True enough.
With a completed Triforce. We have a Ezreal that has a Sheen and a Matamune. I think that's where we're going to see a lot of the damage come from.
Oh, definitely. Especially the Bluesreel, as it at least used to be called. Seeing that pick range coming out from him too, as Corey loses half of his health to 2 Qs, to the 2 Qs from bot lane. The QQ, if you will. And it looks like we actually might see a bit of a more major engagement here. XD looking for those picks with the big slows. Not quite getting the distance on them. Here comes Sina trying to put on some pressure, but ouch!
All of this is in service of delaying Apes while Exasperated is sneaking a dragon. So I think as long as they keep everyone busy, drawing them to a bottom tower that almost fell down, it's all worthwhile. We are now on Soul Point.
Yep. This is becoming dire straits, if ever there are any. And Apes need to figure out some sort of advantage they can leverage to get any momentum back on this map. You cannot close this gold difference immediately. You can't close the turret difference immediately. You can keep people from rampaging everywhere. As we see an ultimate stun coming in bottom lane against Set, but then immediately getting cleansed. The slug match between a Meganar and that Set, gets completely turned as 3 allies show up. That's a lot of help.
And that's going to be the end of this bottom tower. They can probably push. They can probably push in pretty deep here. They have a lot of strength on this bottom lane.
Especially with a poppable. Yeah, there goes Lego. Lego down 2. In fact, it looks like Apes are out of frontliners for the moment. I mean, they've got the Warwick. He's not terrible at it, and he's going for it. He kind of has to, though. Seeing few health bars get low, but no. Sina's forced to flash out, but the flash follow-up from Exasperated picks him up. Turret shot's not really perturbing him, still sitting at over half of his HP behind their inhibitor turret as their own Shelly comes out. That's going to get a ram charge in on the inhibitor too. This is a Nexus turret. With one more slip, this is probably game.
What was wonderful about that fight was it was executed while Jeremy Flip was sneaking a Shelly, and he takes it and teleports in and immediately deploys it. They're all busy defending this tower while he goes and picks up the thing that kills it.
Oh yeah, no, the map control we've seen out of Jeremy Flip, out of Exasperated, with the sneaks particularly, but with the rest of the team too, just holding it for them, picking up that Cloud Drake, grabbing, I don't remember which dragon it was, but the second dragon right after they took down Sina. The macro game has been very good out of those players.
There's a lot of lane push going in every direction that Ape don't want. So I think right now they're going to have to be a little more careful with their split pushing. They need to get some space off of them, but they're going to have to win a team fight if they're going to get back in this. It's going to be hard when you're 23k gold behind.
I believe you mean 13. I'm reading that as 25 and 38.
Math is hard. 13.
I was going to say, 25 would be impressive, though. Yep, it really is. This is beyond backs to the wall. It's basically the chance I would be playing for at this point is maybe getting something with the advantage of fighting under defenses that are really close to your base. That's the time they can pick something up. But that is, of course, exactly what a Baron push like this is for, to make that not an option.
And this isn't going to be an easily contested Baron. They have to have Lego in the bottom, defending against a wave of super minions.
In fact, the Baron is already complete, and that is causing a lot of pressure on Lost Fox, who is trying to distract Black Oreo Cookies, maybe get a pick. But with the Baron buff and all of his team coming in, looks like Lost Fox might have stayed a little too long, except for Flash. But with those Baron minions, that tower advantage I was talking about, it's almost nothing now. I mean, they crumble like paper to the minions practically by themselves, but then when your team is this strong, with only one Nexus turret up, this is their last chance, and they need something insane to happen here. Can they make it happen? Oh my goodness, maybe that, for example, getting a pick on your Nexus turret? But a lot of health bars going down here as, goodness gracious, that Olaf just does not care. You are exasperated? No, exasperation more like. Jeez. Just, it does not matter who you are or what you're doing. Exasperated will hunt you down, and that is probably going to be the end of this Nexus. Except they seem really focused on taking out Lego. But with him out of the way, this shouldn't take much longer.
When you have a Pantheon beating your face down, sometimes you got to deal with it, but that was an excellent game. I think NG Blossom executed their plan perfectly. They came out with a strange comp and put their opponents off balance.
Yeah, I mean, it may have looked strange, but after we were talking about it, it meshed, and you can see that in how their performance played out. Their macro game was great, and that's what gave them setups to do it, but they also chose a lot of champions that could do those things. The Gangplank can stand off and be by himself. The Olaf can do that. The Set can do that. Pretty much the only one super dependent on help was the Ezreal, and hey, guess what? Yuumi.
And that Ezreal, I mean, Cadenator definitely came in doing close to 22,000 damage to champions throughout that game. That was certainly powerful. I do know that we're going to get an interview with Exasperated here in just a moment, so...
Yeah, I'm sure he has some fun things to say.
Absolutely. So as soon as he can get in, we can chat with him. This was an excellent comp for what they were accomplishing. It definitely team fought well. So.
Oh yeah. They did what you said. They got in there. They brawled. It hurt.
So we have Exasperated now. Exasperated, congratulations. Wonderful game. First, I do want to ask you one question, and it's something that this is the second game in a row I saw it. I have to wonder, why aren't you throwing out some chromos on your Broloff?
Oh, buddy. I need to get some more RP for this. I'm kind of a broke boy. Don't have enough RP for the chromas.
Oh, that's something we're gonna have to fix, because there's some fantastic chromas for Broloff.
I agree.
Doing the pink shirt, that shows something.
Yeah, that's alpha, man. That's alpha.
Gotta give you props for having V1 Olaf skin, though. However, to focus a little more on the game, looks like you just kind of ended up with a lot of run of the place. How did it feel building that up?
Sorry, you cut out for 2 seconds. I couldn't hear the last.
Of course I did. I said it looks like you had a lot of run of the whole map there. How did it feel getting in that position? What was it like getting your team into the places you wanted to achieve that?
Yeah, so every single lane had prio, so it was kind of a lot easier for the jungle to get around the map. When Warwick ganked, I believe I was there to counter gank, or someone else was there, so that was really good. We had really good communication on where their jungler was, and I think that was the main portion to our success.
And it certainly helps. Did notice the word game. Doesn't get talked about sometimes with the word game. Got to do it.
Yep.
So y'all had a pretty unorthodox draft here, starting with the Gangplank and the Olaf as your first picks. Really kind of broadcasting I mean, y'all went straight down row exactly who was going to play what champion was picked. However, putting Black Oreo cookies on the set, what drove y'all to do that?
Well, we wanted to try out a phase rush tank set in the mid lane, and it seemed to work out really well. They lane swapped Gnar into mid to try to counter that, but it seemed like it was pretty good. And our top lane also wanted to implement our strategy to counter them with red to blue. We play blue to their red to counter them, and that's about the only reason why we picked this comp.
Well, even if there is only one reason, when the one reason sticks, there you go.
Y'all have now moved up to 5-0. You are remaining the only undefeated team. Who do you think right now is the team y'all fear the most coming after you?
Honestly, I think we're looking forward to playing against the last season's champions, Iron Dragons, and we're really looking forward to playing that game and seeing who's the better team. But right now, it seems like we've been the better team for this league.
And yeah, that match sounds like fireworks.
It's gonna be a fun game.
And that, I believe that might be next week, isn't it?
Is it?
Next
I'm
Sunday,
hearing that
I believe.
Yep.
So, Exasperated, do you have anything else you want to say, call out anyone before we let you go?
Yeah, frankly, I'm so glad you got my name right this time. 2 weeks in a row it was explorated. So I'm glad you're getting it.
Awesome. Well, it's been fantastic having you. I loved watching the game. We'll catch you on the roof next time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Good casting.
And before we let everybody go, I just want to remind all of our viewers, tomorrow, 1 p.m., Trigger Happy versus Iron Dragons. Again, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. That's something really early in the morning for people on the West Coast, but it shouldn't be that bad.
West Coast, I believe.